The city of Miami now bracing for possible large-scale demonstrations as President Trump calls on his supporters to protest his arraignment. For more on how the city is preparing, I want to bring in Miami's Mayor Francis Suarez. Mayor Suarez, thank you for joining Top Story tonight. I do want to get to what you're worried about, right? This is going to be a major situation. The entire world, if you will be watching downtown Miami for this arraignment. What is the thing that worries you the most?
Obviously, what worries me, Tom, is of course, there being law and order and making sure that there aren't any conflicts, disorder, anyone gets hurt, any small business owner gets affected, or destruction of property. We had large-scale demonstrations during the George Floyd incident, and we did it without any major disruption to the quality of life of our residents. I think we were a model across the nation. We had a press conference today with our police chief to talk about our readiness. We are obviously socializing our plans with Miami-Dade County and also with our federal partners, because this is a federal building. And we want to make sure that what happens tomorrow can happen without any sort of negative event or any sort of, black eye on our city. That, of course, wants to give people the right to express their constitutional rights, their First Amendment rights, and wants to make it peaceful.
Mayor, you mentioned your police chief at that news conference. He mentioned a number, I think this is correct, 5 to 50,000 is what they're expecting. Is that a real number? And if so, there's already been some criticism about some of the sort of precautions out there. There's these, yellow police tape and some plastic barriers. People are concerned if you're going to have a massive amount of people demonstrating. Is the city of Miami and Miami-Dade County prepared?
We are prepared, Tom, and obviously I can't give away all the strategies that we use to be prepared. I can tell you that we are accustomed to large-scale protests, and the numbers that he put out there are numbers that indicate our readiness, right? It could be 1,000 people, it could be 5,000 people, but we're ready for anything upwards beyond that and at scale. And so we have a variety of different tactics. We're working with our federal partners, understanding this is a federal building, so we don't control every single decision that is made with reference to the property, and I want to emphasize that. Those decisions are made in collaboration with the property owner, and obviously out of respect for what they want to do. But we feel confident. Our police chief has handled this before. Our department, made up of 1,400 men and women of the Miami Police Department, have handled these situations before, and I know that we can do it, and our citizens can do it, and anyone who comes from outside can do it in a respectful and peaceful way. Without there being any incidents. That's, of course, my hope.
Mayor, the former president has put on Truth Social, he has asked his supporters to, quote, fight. If you had the chance to speak to former President Trump tonight, would you tell him to tone down the rhetoric?
My message would be to everyone who goes tomorrow that we want you to exercise your constitutional rights, but we want you to do it peacefully. This is a great country. We're in a beautiful city, and we have protested many times the Cuban dictatorship, a variety of different incidents in our history, and we always do it in a way that's respectful, that doesn't create conflicts or clashes. And of course, our department is going to be there to ensure safety and security without trying to exacerbate or escalate the situation.
Mayor, this is a big week for you on many fronts, and since we have you here, I would like to turn now to the race for president, because there's a lot of speculation, and you have hinted at this as well, that you're about to enter the race for the Republican nomination. I do want to point out to our viewers who know very well here on Top Story, your governor, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, is also running. Of course, former President Trump is in the race as well. What can you offer Republican voters that both Governor DeSantis and former President Trump cannot?
Well, I think if I decide to run for president over the next couple of days, and I intend to make a big speech at the Reagan Library, I think what I want to highlight is a new vision for this country, a vision where this country can have generational prosperity by understanding the dynamic challenges that it faces. A country where the poor don't get poorer, as they seem to be under this administration, where America is not getting weaker, and where, the conversation that we're having is a healthy conversation, where we're focusing 80% of the time on the 80% of the things that we agree on, instead of 80% of the time on the 20% of things that we disagree on. I think, people want to be inspired. They want to be led. They want someone who has a track record of success, but also a positive vision for the future. I think that's been lacking in our politics for a long time. And I'm hopeful that if I decide to run for president, that I can bring a breath of fresh air, someone who looks different, who sounds different, who has a different set of experience, but also has a positive vision for the future of this country.
Do you think Governor
raised in that I love?
Yeah. Do you think Governor DeSantis would make a good president?
Well, listen, if I thought someone else would be a good president, I wouldn't be running or wouldn't be talking about the possibility of running for president. So, if I do decide to run over the next couple of days, it's because I think that I'm the best alternative and the best option for this country. I've traveled the country. I've been to Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Nevada, and I can tell you that when I talk to voters across the country, they want to hear more. They love the Miami success story where we've kept taxes low, we've kept people safe, and we've leaned into innovation, and they think that that is a model for prosperity in America. And so that would be the platform that I would run on. It would be one where we try to give people hope for a brighter tomorrow, make sure that we can ensure prosperity for themselves and their children, and make sure that people can live in safety, which is what we're doing here in the city of Miami.
Mayor, can you tell me one thing briefly you've learned since the pandemic? The city of Miami, the county of Miami, South Florida has boomed. So much business has moved down there. People are moving down there. What's the one thing you've learned over the last 3 years?
I think the biggest thing that I've learned, Tom, is how dynamic the economy is that we're changing from a highly industrialized economy to an increasingly digital economy. And at the same time, we have an incredibly vulnerable supply chain. We're giving China $1 trillion of our wealth in the form of a trade deficit and in the form of them stealing our IP. They're using it to subvert us in our own hemisphere, which is creating poverty in our hemisphere, which is creating immigration pressure on our country. We have a lot of issues that we need to tackle, but we need someone who can bring us together, solve problems like mayors do across America, and get people unified. I was blessed to be elected by close to 85% and reelected by almost 80% because I focus on solving people's problems, not blaming people for problems.
Mayor, you are a lawyer. You're also a part-time mayor. You can have outside income and outside job. Your hometown paper, the Miami Herald, is reporting this. I want to put it up on the screen for our viewers, essentially reporting that you helped push a real estate project through and were paid to do so. They're now saying the FBI and the SEC is now looking into this. What do you say to your critics who say you were on the take to at least one big developer?
Well, what I would say is I've been a public official for 13 years. I've never had any issues. There's never been ever a question as to my integrity. I've been a working councilman and a working mayor throughout that entire time. And I find it interesting that our local newspaper, just a couple weeks before I'm set to make a big announcement, all of a sudden uncovers this troublesome, story. Look, I have always distinguished myself by someone who's never used my public position to benefit any private entity. I never will do that, and people can feel comfortable knowing that. Unfortunately, in today's day and age, the press is oftentimes one of the least trustworthy institutions, and Americans have grown wary of a press that wants to focus on destroying people as opposed to telling the beautiful story of how much prosperity we've created in our city, where we're #1 in the nation in wage growth. We have the lowest unemployment in America. Our homicide rate is at its lowest level since 1964. I was born in 1977. And this year we're 40% below that number. So that's the story that oftentimes the local papers don't want to tell. There's no prophet is beloved in their own hometown sometimes. But listen, I'm very, very excited about the prospect of delivering this speech on Thursday and making a big announcement that'll set the course for the future of our city and our country.
Mayor, I would also say the press can act as a watchdog. So I do want to ask you, have you or anyone in your office spoken to the FBI?
No, not at all. And of course, and listen, I'm not above criticism. Of course, anytime, the press asks me questions, I try to answer them. I'm not above criticism. That's part of being a public official. No, we have not been contacted by any agency. We ourselves have cooperated with the Commission on Ethics, which is a local ethics commission. And we feel very confident that once the process ends, it will end in a way that's satisfactory and will show that I was not involved in any way trying to help anyone.
Finally, Mayor, is there anything you'd like to say here on Top Story that you're maybe going to say on Thursday?
I'd like to tell the American people to tune in. We're going to have a great opportunity on Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific time to tell a story about the son of a Cuban immigrant who came to this country, whose parents came to this country with nothing at 12 and 7, and who's been given all these blessings and opportunities to shape the city that I was born and raised in and create a dynamic ecosystem that's #1 in tech jobs, that's creating prosperity, that's reduced crime to historic levels. And that model is one that can be scaled across our country to create generational prosperity for more and more Americans. That's what we want to talk about on Thursday, and that's hopefully we'll be able to talk about into the future.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.